And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka MrNeverChillin, and this is episode number 35. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Chill Zone. It's another Sunday evening. I want to thank everyone, and I thank Victor as well. We want to thank everyone who showed up today for our co-op stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the lull in the center there, but Vic, what did you think of the Ascent?
Oh man, the Ascent, it didn't live up to my expectations, but game, it looked beautiful. It had some great
hmm
ideas there, but their goals were very ambitious. So kind of just it missed the mark gameplay wise, story wise. It just kind of just completely just dropped the ball there. And but the game wise, because we were playing this game earlier, a couple months ago, when it first dropped, and we took a break and now we revisited. And we felt the difference between what it was then and what it was now. So they are implementing some quality of life updates, but I don't think there's anything to fix the story, the lack thereof, because it was really hard to
Yeah,
follow.
honestly, it was very hard to follow at times. They just made a lot of assumptions based on things, and it was like, well, I don't think there's any source material. You're just making this up as you go, and it's like at some point I the lull of trying to read all the dialogue or all the side things and the missions kind of felt clunky, and at times they didn't really lead you in the correct direction. We've had moments where we went to fight bosses and we get locked in a room and the boss didn't spawn. So, there are a lot of issues with things that aren't triggering, and it felt clunky to me every part of the game, and it felt like everything was a bullet sponge or the leveling was bad because it like went from you were like, oh, I'm in the mission getting ready to go, and you get to the end of the game and the bosses just keep scaling. We were four levels under them in the last mission, and I'm like, well, when was I supposed to do a side quest
Mhm.
on the last missions? It kind of felt clunky. Well, I didn't want to go running somewhere else real quick. So there were a lot of issues I find with the Ascent. I think it deserves its place solely at a 6.3 for me out of
Mhm.
10 because it only scored about a 19 out of 30 across my matrix for a score.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. About a 6 out of 10 for me. I think it's on par with Marvel's Avengers, which everybody knows. I reviewed it pretty rough, being a 6, because there's a lot of potential there, a lot of good parts of the game, but it just wasn't a good game yet. A 7 defines a game as a good game, so a 6 is just short of a good game. It had some good pieces, but it just missed out for sure.
Yeah, I would use the word okay as the only way I would describe that game.
Yeah.
Um, Afterwards, many of you saw we went on to the Anacrusis. So what did you think of that, Vic? I personally thought the Anacrusis, it felt better to me than Back for Blood at times. I'm actually really enjoying the Anacrusis.
Hmm.
I think the biggest issue like that for Back for Blood and many other games is the fact that you have to play with other players. So you can't just play with bots, and it kind of feels a little clunky. Maybe I missed the setting, maybe it's just not designed that way yet, but with it being an early access game, I'm hopeful for this game.
Right. Yeah, and you pointed out there being a game preview, and we're getting a lot of those where they're just coming out they're saying, here's like a portion of our game. It's not done yet, but what we have is pretty solid. And that's what they have. You get the playthrough, what I think it's like 3 levels, but within each level, there's like very long missions within these levels, and they were a lot longer than what we were anticipating. The length is just right. Like they're enjoyable. They provide some enough challenges at some parts. You do got to work together as a team. I don't like how you have to play with two other real people until like if they quit, they do give you like AIs and stuff like that. But that's the same issue that Back for Blood had. Like it was just like you can play solo, but there was no reason to play solo. Like because you weren't getting anything out of it. Like you couldn't get achievements, you couldn't like progress in the story. So it's just like these games are specifically developed around being a co-op game. But some people only have me and you, and it's a four-player co-op game. So like they gotta have a good balance to like if I only want to play just me and you, substitute AIs. I should be able to turn off the matchmaking system and
Yeah.
move forward with it. But overall, like gunplay, gameplay, phenomenal. That feels great, and I like how you were picking up like different attachments to your guns or whatever you were doing because you mentioned
The
about the
upgrades,
stability,
yeah.
yeah, the upgrades, the stabilities, and just like the randomness too. Like because when you die, when everyone dies, you got to restart from the beginning of that mission, and it's just like just because you picked up an item in one specific area does not mean it's going to be there. Same thing with those like upgrades that we were getting at those like fountain looking things.
The
Um,
the matter compilers, I think
yeah,
they called them. Yeah.
So
They're not in the same spot, so it feels really clunky at times where you're like, oh, I just got these great upgrades, and then you go back and the matter compiler's like, well, I know you already have an upgrade for an SMG. You don't play shotguns. Let me get you two shotgun upgrades. You'll love them. So I did have a little bit of an issue there where some of the upgrades they felt a little iffy, but honestly, all in all, the game has a lot of potential. I'm excited about this game. I don't think we'll be playing it next week for I don't think we'll be playing it again next week for our co-op stream, but another game we might be playing will keep you posted on the Chill Zone, where we might put out a poll so people can kind of we want to play what you might want to see. So stay posted. And without further ado, let's talk about the game releases this week. So, we've got about 6 games here on our list that are coming out this week. El Hijo, a Wild West Tale. It's an iOS and Android game. We've got The Artful Escape for PS5, PS4, and Switch.
Mhm.
We've got Circuit Superstars. That comes out for PlayStation 4 only. I assume you'll be able to, with it being on PS5 or PS4, you can play it on your PS5. Daemon Ex Machina that comes out for PC. And then we've got Pokemon Legends of Arceus that comes out this week on Switch, and the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection comes out for PlayStation 5 and PC. So, is this surprising to you, Vic, that we're getting another game, another PlayStation game on PC again?
Does not surprise me. There's 3 games I want to talk about here, and I'll talk about Uncharted first here since you bring that up. No, because I think PlayStation is on board now with their getting their ports over to PC because they see the success from it. They realize the market that Xbox has because it's Microsoft and PC. So how else can they also get on board with that market is bringing it to PC. And it's a good way to get people on board that don't have a PlayStation or can't get a PlayStation to play these great games because Uncharted, a phenomenal series. God of War just came out last week or 2 weeks ago. That port was phenomenal, and it's blowing out expectations. So it's just like it only makes sense. You get to play the Legacy of Thieves collection. Highly recommended for sure. But Pokemon Legends of Arceus does come out later this week on the 28th, so that's going to be one of the big releases, especially for the Switch. This is a new
Yeah.
direction for Pokemon, being like a Souls-like open world Pokemon game. So it's kind of like what we want Pokemon should have been back. Like if Pokemon could just restart, like it never happened. This is what we could have hoped for in a Pokemon game, hopefully, because we don't know how it's really going to play out and stuff like that. But
Yeah, it might be complete garbage.
yeah, but the last one I wanted to highlight here is the Artful Escape. It was just one of those really beautiful looking games, being developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur, but it's being published by Annapurna. Annapurna publishes a lot of great games, and I remember when this one was announced, the art style looks beautiful. Just the gameplay is just really cool. So I would definitely check this out. This is already on Xbox and PC, but this is coming to the PlayStation. So that's pretty cool now that everybody's going to have a chance to play this. Really nice indie developed game.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The going back here to Uncharted for one, to give you an idea of how successful the PC market is now for the PlayStation games, we're now looking at a 250% return on investment for the new God of War game.
Hmm.
So they're rolling in it. So if by chance you didn't have a PlayStation and now you want to play Uncharted, this is your chance. And honestly, I don't see this failing. I see this only being a success. This is a 4 game pack, I believe here. So with 4 games in the Uncharted collection, I believe coming to PC and PlayStation 5 here, that's that's pretty good for the price we're looking at. I believe the game is going to be $60, and I think they're only going to make their money back.
Right, and don't think this includes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so this is a Thief's End. So this is the fourth one, and then the Lost Legacy. So that was like that extra
Yes.
like side game that they came out with. So like, but because they already remastered the first 3 in the Uncharted collection, so you can play that Nathan's Drake collection, I think is what it was called. And then once you play through 1, 2, and 3, then you get the high def version, 4K version, whatever of the last 2 games, the most recent ones. So
Yeah.
that is
No,
pretty cool.
exactly. So, be on the lookout if that's something you wish to play. I can only rave about how good the Uncharted game series was. Actually, I
Hmm.
quite thoroughly enjoyed it. But moving on here to the next topic, the
Huh.
industry.
Yeah,
So,
there you go, Laser. Yeah, definitely check out
yeah,
the Uncharted games. I personally have played through 1, 2, and 3. I have 4. I got to play through 4. But yeah, definitely play through them. They get better and better, like as you keep going. Like they keep adding new mechanics. It looks better. Like it's a great game.
yeah, no, I agree. Uncharted has always been a good game series, and it didn't feel like it went backwards at all. Because a lot of games will feel like they're like, oh, let's try and change this, and in the end, you kind of lose features when
Right.
they try to change and rework the game. But the industry. So we had a big mix, a big shakeup to the industry this week. Talking about PlayStation, they lost $20 billion in stocks this week because Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard this week. What's your thoughts, Vic?
I
What's your
don't.
thoughts about this purchase?
I don't know where to begin, and I think I'm on board with everybody else in the industry right now. Is this seems big for Xbox, but in the end, is it going to be a good move or a bad move? Because we don't know if this is just. It could be a bad move because Xbox has been consistently making great moves, and when they do, they usually change culture. They don't always implement like their culture. Usually, like when they buy studios, they let them be. But this one's going to be very important on how they handle the situation that's going on with Activision and Blizzard with all their lawsuits.
Exactly.
They got to clean house. They got to get rid of Bobby Kotick as CEO. He got to go for starts. But then they got to make sure that they establish a good work environment. They got to make sure people are happy to come to work, safe to come to work. They don't have to worry about any of that craziness that was going on. That's going to be key to that. But this is the biggest thing though to worry about this on Microsoft's end though is whether this actually goes through. This deal was finalized between the heads of Microsoft and Activision. Now it has to go through regulatory stuff and like
Yeah.
the Federal Trade Commission, which can go, hey, red flag, you're becoming a monopoly. But in their argument though is probably not because with this purchase puts Microsoft third largest in the gaming industry. Tencent is one, then Sony. So if Sony's allowed to be up there, why can't Microsoft? So you know, I mean, like they got to have a good
Well,
balance in
the
this.
thing to be aware of though, the Sony company itself isn't just gaming though.
No, no, but they're talking about gaming specific, how
Yeah.
large it is. So they're
Yeah.
talking about the gaming portion of Sony. They're considered the third
Oh, okay,
largest.
okay.
Just like
So,
with this purchase, Microsoft will move into third with their gaming. Obviously, Microsoft is huge, so Microsoft is probably bigger than both Tencent and Sony overall.
yeah. So, and what's crazy though is this we're not expecting to get a close on this deal until Microsoft's 2023 fiscal year,
Hmm.
which is in the middle of the year. It's going to be July 1st. So, this is actually quite surprising to me because that's so long down the road. Activision Blizzard only has more time to light themselves on fire and douse themselves in kerosene.
Right. I mean, it's 6 months. I mean that's a lot can happen in 6 months, but I'm pretty sure that Microsoft is already kind of having the hand in the pot. Obviously, because they
Mhm.
don't want a company to fucking light itself on fire and then just destroy
Yeah.
itself. Because $70 billion is not light. That was, I think, the third biggest transaction in media, like entertainment history. So that's going to be, you don't just throw $70 billion. $70 billion, look at it. We thought Bethesda's purchase was big at like
Yeah.
$7 billion. Seven. So this is 10 Bethesda deals in one. That's
Hmm.
that that's a lot of money that you just don't go throwing around. But there's a lot of
But
questions
then
though.
again, but they're buying one of the most influential gaming companies. Well, let's consider Activision and Blizzard two different companies in the sense. They're acquiring two of the biggest gaming companies that, we've really had during our generation. From Call of Duty to Warcraft, whether we're talking about World of Warcraft or Warcraft itself, plus
Hmm.
StarCraft and Overwatch and Hearthstone and Diablo. So
Yeah.
these are big cornerstone games in the market. They've either changed the industry one way or another, or they were just super influential. So yeah, it's surprising that it's this much money, but it doesn't, it's not out of the realm that
Mm-mm.
I would expect them to pay.
No, and the thing is, Call of Duty alone is going to make you a lot of money. But you can't forget about the other cornerstone of Activision and Blizzard, King. King has Candy Crush, which makes like $1 billion a year or something like that. I forget what number they
Yeah.
get. And on top of Call of Duty is like $1 billion a month money. So like they're
Yeah.
gonna get their money back. But you don't realize all of the IPs that Microsoft will own now, from the Call of
Yep.
Duties, Blur, the racing game, Gun. Some of the Spider-Man games from back in the day were produced by them. Spyro. You got Crash Bandicoot, Prototype. Guitar Hero. I would love to see a return of Guitar Hero. That'd be pretty cool. Um, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like there was a lot of games that came out. True Crime. I'm just looking at a bunch of them here. Like they had their hands in Jedi Knights back in the day. Some James Bond games. Singularity. Singularity was one of those underrated games that came out back in 2010. There's so
Yeah.
much that Microsoft can do with this, whether it's continuing the titles that they have or also bringing back
Well,
old
and
IPs.
and some of the comments made after the purchase went public is the fact that Microsoft stated a lot of us love these games that Activision Blizzard owns, and we wanted to work on them. We wanted them for ourselves. So we may get to see a lot of these IPs that haven't been around or went underrated or disappeared.
Hmm.
We'll probably see them come back. And it's not like, Microsoft hasn't already been making Spyro for years, but
Right.
maybe we might see stuff like a new StarCraft. Diablo is supposedly coming to Game Pass day one with the new Diablo. So
Hmm.
it's a lot of change,
Right. And on top
you
of that,
know.
like with all these new IPs, they don't always have to be made by the same developers that were there. These can be shared IPs. Like you can have Call of
Yeah.
Duty made by the Coalition or whatever. Like you can start cross putting IPs with different
Well,
game
and that's
developers.
going to be awesome because it's going to help shake it up because some of these companies are just really failing Call of Duty right now.
Right, and with that's another thing. Call of Duty is apparently rumored as of right now, but Call of Duty might move away from the annual releases, which could be huge because like
Yeah.
it would lessen the crunch time that they put in. Granted, they are on like a 3 year development cycle, which is pretty good for the most part, but they're getting forced to do stuff that they don't want to do. And now hopefully
Yeah.
with new leadership they have more creative freedom, and if they move away from an annual release and say it's every other year new Call of Duty comes out, that means you're going to get like 6 years of development then if they keep it in the three studios with Infinity Ward, Treyarch and Sledgehammer, which that can always change too, like who's producing what games and stuff like that. But there's definitely a lot going on with that. I'm just curious to see like what games become exclusive as well. That's the big talk. Like whether Call of Duty becomes exclusive. Obviously, there's some contractual stuff that has to stay in place because PlayStation gets all of Call of Duty's content right now first on PlayStation, and we don't know how long that contract is in place. What if it's 5 years from now and then. But that means Call of Duty can't go exclusive to Xbox until 5 years later, or whatever, if they want to
Yeah.
make that move. And some people were like, no, they can't make Call of Duty exclusive. They're going to lose out on so much money. There was a video I was watching the other day, broke it down. They make Call of Duty exclusive. They convert 2 to 3 million PlayStation users to buy an Xbox, subscribe to Game Pass. They're gonna make more money by doing that than if they release Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, yeah, it's not that big of a market that they have to convert. And honestly, it's just another big purchase that really is going to inflate their sales. And
Oh yeah, because
talking about this,
Game Pass, they released a number with this the other day in regards to this whole conversation. 25 million users have Game Pass now. That
Mhm.
was increase of seven. I think it's either 7 million or 8 million since the last time they released a number to us. That's a lot of people to have Game Pass. That's a lot of
Yeah,
money that's coming in.
that's a lot of money indeed. And that, and that's per month. We're looking at, 10 to $15 a month
Right.
from that many people. So no, I'm definitely they're gonna make the money from this deal back in only a few years from Game Pass sales alone.
Yeah. So if they're getting
So
about 150 from per person times 25, like you're looking at like 3 billion, 3 billion a year, almost four
yeah.
billion dollars a year just from Game Pass.
Hmm.
That is disgusting.
And not to mention, if they continue to get more users because they now have all of these Blizzard games, Blizzard Activision games,
Hmm.
that are going to go to Game Pass, people are going to want to buy them on Game Pass then.
Right.
And that's quite a bit of money. And so, talking about Game Pass here, though, there are three new games coming to Game Pass this month. We're going to see Death's Door finally hit Game Pass on January 20th.
Yep. 3 days ago.
Danganronpa. Yeah, sorry.
These were late though. These two that we're
Yeah,
about to name were like last minute additions that we weren't able to cover in last week's episode. But Death's Door was huge.
yeah. And then Danganronpa, the anniversary edition, came out last week, as well as Taiko no Tatsujin, Drum Master, that comes out this week. So, Game Pass, it's like on a weekly cycle, we're getting new games. You know,
Good games.
every week is a new game. Yeah.
Solid
So
games.
honestly, I'm only expecting Microsoft to make their money back in no time from this acquisition.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, if you haven't checked out Death's Door, please go check out Death's Door. Easily the best indie game last year by far. It was almost in talks for Game of the Year. I mean, it was up there. Okay, I can't say the best because it takes two one Game of the Year, but arguably it was
Yeah.
definitely up there. It was a unique game,
And
really enjoyable, and now it's on all platforms, but it's free. Game Pass, go check it out.
yeah, exactly. So while we have things that are confirmed in the industry, let's get to some rumors here that are coming up in the near future. We mentioned Mario Kart a while back, Mario Kart 9/10. We're not quite sure. They're supposedly saying that the Mario Kart 8 re-release was 9 because they made changes to it, but
Well, no, it wasn't nine.
uh,
It was the
yeah. Oh,
what?
sorry, the
Yeah,
go-kart
the
thing.
real
The
life
little,
one that you
yeah,
could
yeah.
drive around with.
Sorry. Yes. So, with Mario Kart 9/10 coming out here, they believe the name from data mining is going to be Mario Kart Crossroads. And they're also looking to probably expand the roster, which is crazy. We're looking at potentially folding in things like F-Zero, um, some Splatoon, maybe Ubisoft's Rabbids. We're looking at Advanced Wars, Animal Crossing, Arms, Balloon Fight, Kid Icarus, more Legend of Zelda, because they've already done it once. This is sounds like quite the ambitious project. We're gonna have maybe new courses from those games. We're gonna see characters from those games, as well as maybe a change to how the items work. Now there may be two types of items, big and small items, as well as the ability to upgrade small items into big items. So, this is big. This could be a complete rework on the Mario Kart formula that we've had for so long.
Right, and this is that twist because we talked about it either last week or 2 weeks ago with the rumor of Mario Kart, and they were like, it's supposed to be a new Mario Kart with a new twist. Here's your new twist. We're going to incorporate. That's why it's also called Crossroads because you're crossing roads with other games. So you're incorporating that, and then like the new abilities and items and stuff like that. Those are some nice minor tweaks. That's going to have a bigger impact. It changes it up, gives you some fresh content along with bringing along all the other content you already have. So I'm really excited for this one. If this comes to be the real thing, this is just gonna be another big hit on the Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo Switch, how many systems of Switches out, or how many Switches are sold already? A lot. Nintendo's just raking in the money with their exclusives. You're muted.
Sony is the dying console here, in my opinion, right now. It's the console that its exclusives are going to PC. It doesn't have a Game Pass competitor yet. We've got rumors, but there is no definitive release yet. So, without something to really give Microsoft a fight, they're losing even the exclusive fight with Nintendo. Nintendo's just like, look, we got Kirby coming out in 2 months. We've got
Pokemon.
Bayonetta coming out.
You got
You
Pokemon at
got
the end of this week.
Pokemon. We've got so many of these big name games. Our flagships are just more and more and more exclusives, and PlayStation's just like, slow down. We're in trouble. We're drowning here. They lost $20 billion just from the Blizzard purchase. So that's that's huge. Sony is bleeding money.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting over the next couple months, but also in the next couple years to see how this generation really unfolds. Because according to like what Phil Spencer talked about over at Microsoft, they're on pace. They've already sold more consoles at this time than they did with any previous generation of Xboxes. They said it's not the supply that's the issue; it's the demand that's the issue. The demand is through the roof. They can't keep
Yeah.
up with demand, so the supply they're producing more systems like at a time than they did any previous generation. So the production is high. It's just the demand is through the roof, and they can't meet expectations, and they're trying. So it's crazy to see how that's going to play out because we haven't really heard anything from PlayStation in regards to their numbers other than we're going to sell you more PS4s because we think that's going to help with the PS5 shortages because both systems are taking different approaches. PlayStation making more PS4s because we can't make you PS5s. Xbox is like we're not going to make any more Xbox Ones because we need you to get a Series S or a
We
Series
want you to
X.
be where the new gaming is. We want you to be on the future. Why make games that are backwards compatible when we can just make them great?
Right. Yeah, Microsoft and Nintendo are doing phenomenal. Sony has to do something big soon. That Discord partnership or whatever they got going on is not going to be big. Crunchyroll is not going to be what Xbox or PlayStation needs.
Uh, Honestly, it's crazy. They're like, "Oh, let's become an entertainment platform. We've lost the gaming fight. Let's
Well,
just
did they not learn from Microsoft? Microsoft tried to do that with the Xbox One. TV, media,
yeah.
entertainment system, and it flopped. It flopped
Yeah.
horribly. And everyone made fun of how bad it was. Nobody wanted an Xbox One because of the whole entertainment thing. They wanted
Yeah.
it for Halo and Gears. That's the reason why people bought the
And
Xbox.
And all the TVs nowadays, we don't need an entertainment system box. We have it in our TV now. Our TV is the app. Why go through the Xbox or the PlayStation when I can just use my TV? It just works.
Yeah, I
And with HDMI ARC, my sound goes right back through my AVR anyway, or my sound bar or my sound system, whatever. The TV still connects to it, and I don't have to play through an AVR or some other thing to get that to work.
yeah. So Sony has a lot to catch up on for sure.
Yeah.
But another
Um,
rumor though this week, Valorant. This one's pretty big here with the new map potentially coming soon, and apparently they're like on a world tour, so they're going to Sweden. What's your thoughts on this? What kind of map or new mechanic? Because like every map is something different. What could they do
yeah.
differently?
Honestly, there's so much you could do. The sky's the limit with this kind of game, but honestly, I think with a new map, we're gonna see hopefully a new style of play. We went from the core maps, which had like a teleporter. Maybe we'll start seeing some of these mechanics get reused. We've
Hmm.
got multi-layered maps, we've got big maps, we've got small maps, we've got maps with 3 sites, we've got maps with teleporters, so there are so many things they already have. It's like instead of reinventing the wheel, let's start meshing some of these styles of
Hmm.
play. That's what I'd like to see. Maybe a big map that does utilize teleporters, something like Breeze with teleporters, something like a 3 site map with teleporters, or a 3 site map that is also heavily XY and
Hmm.
or in heavily Z instead of going forward, back, left, and right. I've got to deal with, an upper floor to a map.
Right. No, yeah, there's definitely so much that they could do, and that would make sense to intermix a lot of their mechanics that they have going on because you don't want to start to implement too many different mechanics because then you're just going to flood the game where it's not going to be like really
Yeah.
enjoyable at a certain point. So it's definitely got to have a pretty solid balance when it comes to using the mechanics.
Yeah. Talking about another potentially free to play game here
Yep.
though. Battlefield 24 2042 might go free to play.
Yeah, this is just a huge rumor that I picked up scrolling through my Twitter. It's not nothing from any reputable source, but it did bring my mind into it to really think about it. And that's why I wanted to bring it on the show is this what could save Battlefield 2042 is making it free to play and then adding content and making money off of their battle pass or whatever they want to do and add additional
Yeah.
content to it. But I was thinking like if they do make it free to play, how are they going to have to handle refunds? Because like I spent $100 on the game, but then you're going to make it free to play? Hmm, that's kind of a big fu to the fans who actually invested
Well,
into
the
your
game's
game for
already
free.
gone $20 or whatever the other week, so it's like,
Yeah.
is it like to the fans who bought it right away? I'm sorry, you should have seen the writing on the wall in the first few hours of gameplay and refunded your money and waited. It's the people who bought it and said, "I'm hopeful it gets better." It's like, well, just wait till it gets cheaper.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to
But
see
if
how
it,
Battlefield goes because Battlefield
yeah,
got to do something. Like they got to shake it up, and I know they moved around some management and stuff like that. So hopefully it's on the rise. Like a lot of their updates, they put out a roadmap. A lot of their updates. So hopefully, everything starts to work out for it. Like they're reworking a new scoreboard and stuff like that for in game because that was really difficult to even find in the game anyway. And then it looked horrible. It didn't give you any information that you really needed.
yeah, no, I definitely think the game itself had a lot to be desired. And so, moving away from gaming rumors, though, gaming news for the week, our last topic here before we get to our deep freeze moment. Talking about shooter games, free shooter games. There are so many free shooter games on the market right now. Why pay $100 for Battlefield when you could play Splitgate, Valorant? And talking about Splitgate here, we're gonna finally see one of their first real seasons, their beta season one. This is coming out this week, January 27th. Splitgate is going to start having a ranked mode, it sounds like. So there's going to be a custom map creator. It's coming for PC and consoles. They're gonna do the reimagined Foregone Destruction map. They're gonna have new items and weapon designs, as well as 100 level battle pass. Is this the future of gaming? Battle passes, just free to
No.
play games with battle passes?
Unfortunately, because they had to get away from loot boxes. That was the biggest thing. They had to get away
Yeah.
from loot boxes because of the gambling issue that was becoming. Now they have a battle pass. It's free. You can have a free battle pass, but if you want that extra content that's sprinkled out throughout that battle pass, pay extra for it. But you know
Yeah.
that you know what you're buying. It gives you something to work hard towards. But the issue with it though is like it's splitting up the communities. Like every game now has a battle pass, but it takes you a lot of hours to complete that battle pass. And not everyone can play through every single game and complete every single battle pass unless that's your job.
Yeah.
Like if you're a streamer, yeah, you're going to burn through battle passes like that because you're playing a game 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Where like me, we play
Exactly.
maybe 3 or 4. So I'm never going to get through a battle pass. Like I barely get through Valorant, and everybody knows how much we play Valorant.
Yeah, with how much we play, and I'm only barely getting done with the epilogue. I missed the final card on the
Mhm.
epilogue by 50,000, 60,000 points. It's a lot of work, and you have to play every day to get your double experience and things like that. So for somebody to add another battle pass, maybe Splitgate's not for me. But we're also going to see two new game modes added to the game: Evolution, and One Flag Capture the Flag. So can you tell me about Evolution or Evolution
They didn't
here?
give no details on that. Yeah, it was just a little bit. They just released like an article, just
Yeah.
real quick, just detailing what's coming. But one flag, capture the flag, sounds like this like sabotage from Call of Duty, where it was like one bomb, search and destroy. But you respawn and stuff like that. So my guess is it sounds pretty obvious. One flag in the middle, you go grab it, you take it back to your base.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be an interesting concept. We haven't played Splitgate in a while, and I wouldn't mind hopping back in, especially with the new season dropping. I know we have a couple people in the Chill Zone community that loves to play it.
Yeah. So one of the last things we got here, I know you're very excited about this, and I'm not, but let me hear from you. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is coming out April 5th, 2022. Tell me about it.
Yeah, man. So this is big. I mean, I'm surprised that they fumbled the ball here. They could have just released it on May 4th. I don't know why they didn't just wait a month. But there's over 300 playable characters, which that's a lot. That's a lot of fucking characters. But Star Wars has those characters to play with. There's a lot of iconic characters to play through. There's a galaxy map that you'll be able to look at that will start to populate with the different planets that you visit and explore. And we know how big the Star Wars galaxy is, so that'll be pretty
Yeah.
cool to see how many of the planets that you actually be able to go to. If they stick to the ones that were just specific to, like, say, the movies, the 9 movies, or are they going to add like some of them from like the Clone Wars TV show or the Mandalorian TV show, like how that plays out? I know it's hence the Skywalker saga, but this all takes place in that time frame. Um, but they obviously there's a main story, but they do encourage your exploration because like there's stuff that you can find throughout each map that you're on, and maybe there's some hidden Easter eggs and stuff like that. So I'm definitely very eager to check this out because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. But there's a upgrade system to all these characters. Not exactly sure how it all plays out, but you can find Kyber bricks. But there's 9 classes that you can upgrade with. There's Jedi, Hero, Scavenger, Scoundrel, Bounty Hunter, Villain, Dark Side, Astromech Droid, and Protocol Droid. My guess is obviously these will be specific to which character that you have. Would be my guess
Yeah.
on how this works. So I'm really eager to play this game. This game's been announced a long time ago. It's been delayed multiple times, and I'm excited because I haven't really played a Lego game in a while. But from what I see, this game looks really good, and looks like it sticks to the story, but adds that Lego humor to it. And I think that's what I need right now is a nice game like that.
Yeah.
Is this a game that you would ever check out? Because I know you're not a huge Lego game, but would this be a Lego game you actually check out?
Yeah, it's just too much for me. I'm not really I like Star Wars is cool and all, but I just kind of fell out of liking Star Wars a long time ago. And for me to also try to play a Lego game that's also a Star Wars game, it's like, well, it's not up my alley, really.
Okay. And I don't think it has co-op, which is interesting because most of the other Lego games have co-op, so that is a missed out
Like almost
point.
all of them, I thought.
Yeah, so maybe there'll be a feature they add later or something, but I don't know. Maybe this is one that they don't because it makes sense to only keep it solo.
Hmm.
Haha, no pun intended there.
All right. Well, last news that we've got going on here is a new partnership in the gaming world. Ubisoft has now partnered with GameStream to help bring the Ubisoft catalog to another market to play on.
So this is like some kind of streaming. If they Game Stream specializes, they said, in white label cloud gaming solutions, meaning it makes tech available for other game companies to use and brand as their own. So this will just help them be able to, like Roger was just saying, Lunatic Oblivion was just saying, was be able to stream their games, because we all know that Ubisoft is seems like they're becoming more and more invested in their Ubisoft Plus subscription, and they're bringing it to
Yeah.
like Luna, they're bringing it to Xbox, like it's already on PC, like so they're trying to make it more accessible. Where like if you don't want to get Game Pass but you want to play their games because you're a huge Ubisoft fan for some reason, um, you can just be able to play it maybe on a TV or how whatever device that you're going to be able to stream on. So this will help them be able to stream that because Microsoft already has access to like their servers and stuff like that without an issue. Sony has
Yeah.
their servers, so it only makes sense that hey, we need a platform that's going to help us stream our
If you
games.
just want to play Ubisoft and only Ubisoft games because you hate yourself, now you can.
I mean, I hope Ubisoft Plus becomes part of Game Pass in a way. That's going to be monstrous if that happens.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's Ubisoft Plus is going to be a big part of Game Pass, I think, really. Honestly, I don't see them succeeding outside of Game Pass.
Yeah, not on the Xbox, because I don't know about you, but I'm not spending $15 a month on Xbox Game Pass and then turn around and also spend $15 a month also on Ubisoft Plus.
There's not enough catalog. Ubisoft should be like a $5 add-on. I'd pay $5 as an add-on if they got their shit together.
Right.
So, um, moving on here to the last topic of the evening. That's the deep freeze moment. Vic, why don't you ask about the deep freeze moment here?
Yeah, so our deep freeze moment that we have this week is we're going to talk about in regards to consoles. Are the console wars real? Are they necessary? Or is this a content war now? And also, what's the future of gaming look like? So, Roger,
So,
what's your thoughts?
um, are the console wars real? Yes, they've always been a real fact of reality. Because as anyone who knows capitalism, without any innovation or competition, there is no real changes. You know, the industry grows stagnant, nothing changes, nothing gets better, and the only ones who suffer then are the consumers. So in this case, yes, I think the console wars are real, and I think they're necessary. Because if we didn't have console wars, we wouldn't have things like mobile gaming. We wouldn't have things like VR, AR. We wouldn't have like, without I'd say PlayStation 2 with the first camera,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have AR gaming in the way we had. That led people like Nintendo to improve upon that, to take it to the next step. They want to be able to say, okay, well, I want you to be able to do all this with different joysticks, be able to move around, uh, and then we see that coming out with the Wii Fit and things like that. And I don't think we'd ever be where we are today without the PlayStation 2 I forget what it was called.
Yeah, it was yeah.
It was the
Yeah, I
PlayStation
actually
2
just
I.
looked it
Yeah.
up too because I was like, "What is that karate game?" And it was the
Yeah.
Kung Fu, and that was the one
Yep.
the shit would come from side to side, and you'd be like,
Oh, yeah, you and me played the crap out of that game. No, honestly, without the idea of innovation here, we wouldn't really be where we are today. If it wasn't for PlayStation, the PSP, honestly, I think a lot of people wouldn't have gotten better with handheld consoles because Nintendo wouldn't have been, I think, pushed to become what they are with the Wii U and then the Switch.
mm-hmm.
The PSP took full title games and put them in your hand. You could stream them from a console and play them anywhere else in the house. That was huge.
It was
It went
way ahead
undersold.
of its time.
Yes, it was, but that's the thing. Other consoles said, "Whoa, whoa, wait. That's a great idea. Let's do that." And that's what happened. We see these other industries go, "Well, let's do it better."
Hmm. No, yeah, for sure. I definitely agree on that because, like, without, like, you just hit it right on the head. Without competition, there is no reason for change, and we see that in the industry still today with games like the sports games. There's no competition for sports games because the licensing and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a monopoly when it comes to sports licensing and stuff like that because we're going to get the same game year after year, no improvements. If anything,
Why?
it gets
Why
worse.
improve? Why improve if I'm always the only one who can if I'm the only one you can buy this game from every year, you're gonna do it. So
Right.
yeah, and I think that's a real issue here. We see the stagnation inside everything. And I think yes, your question, is it now a content war? The answer is yes. We always say, oh, this is a Souls-like game. This is is it a WoW killer? Is it going to be better than Call of Duty? We're always looking to say, here is the pinnacle. Here's what we think is the best. Can you beat it? Or are you going to innovate, make this a better genre? Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
add to the genre? Like Souls-like games. Now everyone wants to build Souls-like games because of the success of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Demon Souls. We're looking at these things saying, well, it worked. It's great. Can I do it better to continue to get that audience to want to buy into that genre? It's the same thing with, is it a WoW killer? Everyone asks, everyone wants an MMO. MMOs make money. MMOs are Game Pass, but with one game. It it is a constant stream of money. How do I build something that will get me a constant stream of money? And I think that's the thing right now. We're looking at, can it kill WoW? If it can
Hmm.
kill WoW, then it will be the MMO.
Right.
So I think we're in that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so before we hop into like what's the future of gaming look like, I'm gonna go through and just run through mine answers real quick. Console wars I think were real. I don't think we are in a console war anymore. I
No.
think we're at the point where consoles are getting to the point where they're the same damn thing no matter what. It just depends on their content now, which is going to lead up to what I talk about when it comes to their content. So before, yeah, it was console wars. Now, not so much. It was always, oh, my console does this better than yours, or mine does this and yours doesn't, or whatever. So yes, console war. I think it was a necessity. It was necessary to push motivation. It was innovation in the industry. Like you said, everything improved. Even with the whole the PlayStation Eye. Like we without that we would never have got the Connect. The Connect quote unquote flopped, but it was part of a system that was more focused on entertainment. So it wasn't really there was no effort. There was no development for the Connect. So nobody wanted it. The PlayStation even went out and made their little camera still for the PS4. Like nobody really wanted it because no one developed for it. Same thing with AR and VR. Like no one's really developing for that as much yet, but that is going to be the future with gaming, or at least part of it. It's going to be a branch of gaming. But when it comes to content wars, I think that's where we're at now more than console wars.
And
Because,
and 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 that's exactly right, because you touched upon this and I want to reinforce it. It's not really a console war, it's a content war.
mm-hmm,
I've got an exclusive. So you want to buy my console because that's the only place to play it.
mm-hmm,
And I think I want to add on by saying, if it weren't for the PC market and everyone going to PC with their games, we'd still be in a console war.
right. And to build off of the whole content war stuff too is Microsoft is looking at this way differently than PlayStation. Microsoft is at a point now with Xbox where we don't care if you buy the console. We're more focused on Game Pass. We're trying to build Game Pass's catalog up so much that the only way that you're going to want to play games, most of your games, is by subscribing to Xbox Game Pass because you can play it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer, your consoles, your older consoles, whatever you want to play it
Well,
on, and future your TV. Your TV will probably be able to run Game Pass
well,
soon.
and the other thing, it's guaranteed revenue.
Yes.
That's the thing. We're not in a console, we're in a content war now because you need guaranteed revenue.
Hmm.
Saying, well, we have projected fourth quarter earnings because we think we'll sell this many Xboxes. Did you sell that many Xboxes? No. But at any given moment, you know how many Game Pass subscriptions you have. You can watch it in real time go up and down.
Right. And that's another thing to build off is just like with the whole Game Pass, it's incredible. Like that's really what they're really focusing on, just because of the value that they're giving customers. Like this is why, and the biggest part is like this is from the business aspect. We know that you're subscribed to it. Most people will probably never cancel their subscription. That's just how people operate. So they know that if you subscribe to it for 12 months and you only play the game 6 months out of the year, they just made 6 months worth of money from you without you even buying or playing a game. So they're making like effortless income or revenue off of you who may or may not have played a game. Unlike us, like me and you, we are advent gamers. We play games all the time. But I'm talking in regards to like the average consumer. They may not play the game every month, every week, every day like we do. So they're making money, a lot of money, more money off of them, because that person's not going to buy games as often, nor are they going to play games as often. So now they're making effortless money, and that's going
Yeah.
to be huge.
No, I agree. And I want to build off of what Tubi said here in chat because this is my next point. The future of gaming. It's we're looking at not console wars, but content wars with advances in the way you game and not how what you game on. So like
Hmm.
we're looking at the future. Maybe we go back to a point where people are steering wheels for video games. They kind of had a big beginning, then they kind of teetered off, and nobody really wanted them. But now they're on the rise again. People
Hmm.
want steering wheels and pedals for their computer because then you strap a VR headset to your head, and now you're driving like you're in an actual fucking car.
Right.
So I think the future of gaming now is how can I make your gaming experience more immersive? How can I make it more convenient? How can I make it so you're playing games more and more?
Right. And PlayStation has done that phenomenally with even the little innovation, their controller, their haptic feedback with the tension, with the triggers and stuff like the haptic triggers. Like that's big to realize, and you can feel the tension of pulling a bow or when you're pulling the trigger of a gun, like you actually feel it, as opposed to the standard Xbox. Like it's one click. It does not change no matter how many times you press it. It will be the same click every single time. So
Oh yeah,
having those, yeah, that's big.
and that controller is amazing. I want to build off of that. Like I have the PS5 controller and I love it. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima and at one point you have to use your grappling hook to pull stuff. And like when you throw the grappling hook, when it latches on, you have to hit the other button to start pulling and it has that feedback like you're actually pulling against something and it feels cool. It
Hmm.
actually is exciting every time it happens. Like it's a crappy mechanic. It feels like, a repetitive, silly mechanic we deal with because it makes you feel immersed. Well, now I feel immersed because my controller is immersing me.
Right. And to build off of that, I think PlayStation is doing really well with like innovation when it comes to their hardware, because looking at the PSVR 2 that they announced, like with all the haptic feedback that you're going to get on the headset now, like most other
Yeah.
headsets don't give you that feedback in your on your head, the vibrations and stuff like that. And like with this, I guess you can there's some of them that you can strap like a suit to you, so you could feel like the gunshots and stuff like that, the vibrations where they hit. That'll be the future. And like Tubi said, the peripherals war. It's gonna be how to immerse you in a different way. Like if it's not like the movie Ready Player One in the next 10 years, 20 years, I would not be surprised at this point.
Honestly, yeah, I agree. It is the future is going to be not what you play on, but how you play and how we can keep you playing and how we can make you, jump to the next iteration in gaming.
Right, and honestly, to circle this back to the buyout with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, it's going to come down to moves like this to shake up the industry, because when stuff gets stagnant, stuff does not happen, and that's even when it comes to the culture, like when people are being mistreated and just being abused in multiple different ways. content that you're going to get is going to be miserable. Innovation is not going to happen. So you're going to need change. You're going to need somebody who's going to shake it up and actually do the right thing. And I really hope that
Yeah.
Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, the three pillars of gaming, can keep this going and hopefully improve every workplace as much as possible, whether it involves them buying out or even some kind of partnership or something that they can help with the industry because they're the leaders. That's where all
Honestly,
developers are producing for us for their
as
consoles.
as long as we can keep in a position where the three of them can continue to thrive, other people can come up around them and play. If it becomes, the future of gaming, if we see the fall of one of these three studios, yes, they're large. Yes, they're ginormous, but if we see the end of Sony, Nintendo, or Microsoft, I think gaming will only suffer.
Oh yeah, yeah for sure. I mean they've been around for a minimum of 20 years because Microsoft will be the youngest out of the three. Um, so they've been around forever, all our lives. So and it's crazy to see where it came from to where we're at now. So I
Yeah.
mean, even in that little bit of time, how vastly gaming has improved, and then like just looking at it within the last 5 years, 8 years, gaming has immensely evolved, and we're only our technological revolution that I would say that we're in is rapidly moving. Like it's crazy to see some of the technology that's out there that's always at CES or any of those kind of events too. You're just like, whoa, that's dope.
Yeah.
I can't wait till that comes to the mainstream media. Like that's going to be the main market that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think we should close it out here for the week. I want to thank everyone who came out and joined in on the conversation. It's always nice to hear other views or other people.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to thank everybody who checked us out live today, and anybody who checks us out later on YouTube. Missed our episode? It's live every Sunday at 7 o'clock. So be sure not to miss these out at all, because we definitely love your input and the conversation that we get to have with y'all. But Roger, where can we find you at?
Well, most of you probably know where I can be found, but if you don't, it's twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. I stream on Twitch. We've got Monday stream here with the Chill Zone where we do Valorant. Sunday we've got our co-op stream where we're playing a co-op game every Sunday, 12 to 3, and the podcast 7 to 9, 7 to 8 or over.
Right, never know. Might depends on how busy the week is, right?
Really, honestly, we're at the whim of whatever the news is, and we want to make sure we give as much as possible.
Right. And of course, everyone check me out at MrNeverChillin _ on Twitter. Xbox is never space Jesus never space chillin. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And of course, I'm streaming here right now, trying to grow the audience. Community announcement though, like Roger said, we're continuing to do our co-op stream every Sunday from 12 to 3. We recently beat the Ascent, so definitely thank you for everybody who did check us out earlier today. And Roger, what game do you think we're going to play next? You have any ideas we want to
Um,
announce yet?
no, I think it would be interesting to play more of a party game. Maybe open up the stream to some of our viewers in the future. Play something that
Hmm.
doesn't really have a player cap, and as long as we're completing it, we're having fun.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely check out. We'll throw all the links to our Discord and stuff if you want to be a part of the community, for sure. But definitely want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.